BetMGM. We're at Mets camp. Braun, Maybin, Kratz, Pete. Kratz, take it away for a sec. Intro the big man to start the show.
I mean, who needs an intro? Who needs an intro less than Pete Alonso, the home run derby champion? But I'm excited he's on because Todd's not on. Like, I figured you only came on when Todd was on with us.
No, I mean, you guys do a great job. It's always a fun time, and also it's nice. And also, Cam's a former teammate as well, so it's good having former teammates on.
Well, I didn't know that. That's my bad. That's my Cam teammate status. I don't know because he played for too many teams, so I didn't realize that. So my bad, Cam. Welcome back.
Hey,
right?
it's good.
Never left.
So I guess is that welcome back?
Never left.
Did it feel like it's a welcome back when you come back in the clubhouse and the guys see you or they text you when the contract went down?
Well, it's just this group of guys is great. I mean, there's constant dialogue throughout the entire offseason. I mean, it's good to have that from not just like teammates that I've had for a couple of years, but teammates that I've had my entire time of my tenure here. So from guys new and old, it's really good to have that consistent dialogue, not just from teammates, but coaches and staff as well. So to have that respect, rapport, and connection over the years, it means a lot. It's awesome.
Okay, hey Pete, I want to ask you, as you guys are talking about that and this process is going on, do you have the same locker? Did you clean everything out just in case you might not have came back, or are we back in the same digs as usual?
No, same locker, and
right.
as far as I know, same locker mates and everything. I mean, Jeff and I, we've been locker mates. I mean, pretty much since 2018 and 2017 from A-ball on. So as far as I know, we got the same locker. We're locker mates this year, and pretty much same spot in the clubhouse. I don't know about New York just yet, but I'm thinking I'll still have my same spot.
Do you want to push?
And
you want to push Jeff out? Do you want to push Jeff out? Hang on, sorry.
No, Jeff's my guy.
Even when he's not getting hits?
No,
because he admitted on here he gets a little pissed when he's not hitting.
Yes, he gets mad, but
okay.
But everyone gets mad when they're not hitting.
Okay, good.
But all you need to do is just say, "Hey, Jeff, here's an Angry Orchard," and and go play 9 rounds tomorrow, and then the next day he'll go 3 for 4 with 2 doubles.
Love it.
Hey, real quick, Pete. So I want to ask you about that. You talk about guys like Jeff, who I love. He's a grinder. And of course, you guys, acquired Juan Soto this offseason. And as that was going on, I was a guy that, felt like you were extremely undervalued production. I look at things from ceiling and floors. And I said, everybody looked at last year as a down year for Pete Alonso, or I looked at it as Pete's floor. If that's Pete's floor, that's a pretty nice floor. When you talk about adding you back to the fold and back in the mix, I asked Kratzy, how was the vibe around camp? But I want to ask you, when you come back in there, I think all of a sudden, even adding Juan Soto, now you add Pete Alonso with Juan Soto. How are you feeling and how are the vibes around camp and, the confidence within the guys?
I mean, vibes are great. I mean, I think that adding Juan is huge because, I mean, playing against him for the past 6 years, I mean, the dude's a baller. Like we all know that. I mean, he's a game-changing type player, and playing against him for the past 6 seasons, it's like you're just tired of seeing him have that game-winning hit or making that big play in the field. I mean, you're tired of seeing it because, I mean, he's just that good on a night in and night out basis. So for us to have him on our side, man, that's such a huge help. I mean, obviously adding him is a huge thing, but adding like some key components like Sean Manaea back. I mean, that guy's a great clubhouse guy. Adding some starters, I think Clay Holmes. I mean, having him go deep into games with his repertoire is going to be insane. Did you catch him at all when you were with the Yankees?
No, and I missed him with the Pirates too. So
right.
we went parallel. He kept following me, but I kept leaving. So
right, I got you.
I didn't get to.
And I mean, and other guys that we've made, obviously, and young guys too that have had some great contributions at the end of last year. And I mean, I think that for us, like with the group that we had and the new additions, I think we're going to have some good things cooking this year because you have a good mix of experienced guys and young and hungry guys, and all the new guys are mixing well with the people that were here last year. So it's been a great camp so far. I mean, vibes have been great, and everyone understands their assignment.
I can attest to that. I can attest to the vibes because I've hit 4 camps before this. This is the 5th one this week. Your vibes they're real. Be careful. The Orioles vibes are pretty good too. So I'm just saying, and that was a rainy day. This is a nice day. So anyway,
right.
What's the one thing? Because you get a different view. Some outfielders never get a close view of Juan Soto. Juan Soto comes to first base, which he did often.
Yes.
Being in the NL East.
Yes.
What's the one thing that you're like, now that you're a teammate of mine, I'm kind of like, whoa. Like some dudes, they get in your locker room and you're like, dang, that dude is taller. This dude works harder. Is there something with Juan that you're like, I didn't know that in this short stint that you've known him?
Honestly, it's just been a short few weeks, but the thing didn't really discover anything new. It's just confirmed everything. I mean, just his consistency, whether it's routine, work ethic, just intensity in day-to-day work, like his consistency, that's why he's so dang good. People wonder why or wonder how. It's the consistency in the routine. It's the consistency in the whether it be in the training room or the gym, the cage, or the backfield doing defensive work or footwork or what have you. But just consistency and that stuff, like you kind of know that he's doing that stuff because it shows up in the game so often. I mean, you can't do the little things behind the scenes and not show out. The game's too fast and people are too good. So it just reconfirmed everything because the consistency, that's his secret sauce.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete, you talk about consistency. You know, you have guys like yourself who have been extremely consistent. You got Frankie Lindor. You've got Jeff McNeil. You've got your core pieces, right? But offensively, I want to stay on the offense. We know what, Juan Soto is going to do. Who in your eyes is a guy that you want to see or in your eyes you go, if this guy can get it right, if he can figure it out, man, nobody's thinking about what he could do for our lineup. Is it a Brett Baty? Is it a Acuna? Like who's a guy in camp that we're not talking about that you're going, if this dude can figure it out, we will be even better than expected?
Well, the best way I could describe it, it's not necessarily figuring it out. I would just say find who they are and hold on to it for as long as they can. Like I think like for certain guys, I think Alvi, Vientos, Baty, Acuna, all those younger guys. But again, I honestly, I think, we talked about him earlier in the show, but I think Jeff is going to have an unbelievable year this year. Just like the amount of attention to detail work he's put in with his swing and defensively. And there's going to be a lot of other guys that are going to make some really, really big impacts for us as well. But also another guy, Louis Torrens, his swing has looked absolutely fantastic. I think he's going to make a tremendous impact for us as well. I think our two catchers are going to make a huge impact this year. I mean, having catchers that rake is huge, and those guys are going to surprise a lot of people this year with their bats.
Can you tell us what went on with that last meeting that finally pushed you over to sign back with? I think it was. Did you guys have dinner at
No,
home?
it's just no. We met. It was my obviously Scott and
Right.
David and Steve and I. So we just I guess previously I never really got like a look behind the curtain or necessarily a full understanding of the in-depth philosophies, the vision for the future. Because for me, when you go through and play for an organization, once you get called up, you're a player, like you get little nuggets here and there, but you don't get necessarily the full picture, the full playbook. And I think it was just discussing everything, the full vision over the next, not just this year, but the next couple years. And I think having that vision, having that knowledge and just the philosophies, the fabric of the organization, the consistency from top to bottom, whether it's staff, players, gameplay philosophies, certain things like that. I mean, not going to go too far in depth with that, but I just wanted to have a mastery of understanding of it all, and to get on the same page as David and obviously Steve and I have had rapport and relationship before, but to get that in-depth conversation with David and just visions for the future, I think that was super important for me. And again, I'm very stoked to be back, and I think we're going to do great things. I mean, you look at the lineup. I mean, this year whether you go from the depth of pitching, the bench guys, and just the everyday guys, like I think the sky's the limit for us. So I really do.
What did you order? What did everybody order? Like, we want to be in those meetings because we're never going to be good enough to have a meeting where they talk about owners. Owners barely knew my name. Like, what the depth of the organization is going to be. So we got to at least know a little. Like, what did you order?
Well, it wasn't.
No food.
No, there was potential to order food, but it was like there was coffee, water, tea, and like a couple of sodas in case anyone wanted. Have to have a variety of drinks for a meeting, but.
Okay.
But it was pretty much it was about a 3-hour meeting of just dialogue. So
3 hours with no meal.
I mean,
come on.
Everyone came prepared. It was strictly business. They were after the meeting. They were welcome to stay, but of course, Steve and David are busy people, and
but they could be hungry. I know they're not as big as you, but you can't go 3 hours. You had to have at least a little snack.
No,
nothing.
Not thinking. When it comes to business, it's business time.
It's business time. Okay, I appreciate that.
Yes.
So what do you talk to Mendy about where you want to hit behind Juan, where you want to hit in front of Juan? Be like, Juan, look, I could hit in front of Juan. Let Juan drive me in.
I mean, whatever Mendy wants to do. I mean, it's his team, and for me, like I've hit the middle of the order my whole career, and as long as I'm in the middle of the order, I'm swinging at good pitches and having good at bats. I mean, good things are going to happen over the course of the year. So wherever Mendy decides to write me in.
Speaking of that leads me right into it, Pete. Talking about Mendy, I had the opportunity to play under Mendy when he was the bench coach for the Yankees. You guys, I don't want to say stole a great player from the Yankees in Juan Soto, but I also think Mendy's, his personality, his character, had quite a few managers now, right, in your early career. What makes him different? Because I believe that he is a leader of men. I believe that he takes time to get to know individuals. But can you speak on, from your experience having previous managers, what makes Carlos different?
Well, I guess there's one overarching common thing of all the managers I've had. It's their hunger and their appetite for the game and wanting to win on a consistent basis, and checks that box. But the one thing that Mendy has done a great job at is communicating with guys, and I think just he believes in his guys, and what I think he's done a really good job at was stay the course, because New York, obviously, like with the media and like our 0-5 start, and we had our like really bad rough patch. I mean, going from 11 games under 500 and then having our run in the postseason, what he did on a day in and day out basis was he was accountable. I mean, he preaches on accountability every day, and he wore it, and he was accountable for from kind of like everything that was going on earlier in the year. And he was just hell-bent on getting better and believing in his staff, believing in what we had going on, even though things weren't going our way. So his relentlessness and his accountability, I think, were the keys to our success last year, because that trickles down from the top. And I think that was he was definitely at the forefront of the accountability aspect and the enduring the storm and trusting in our guys.
Last one from me.
Mm-hmm.
Playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
At what point did you believe you guys were going to win the World Series?
I mean, when you go from I'm going to go to Atlanta that day where everyone else was done with baseball, and we had to fly back from it felt like a game 163, but. So we finished up in Milwaukee. Then we had to go to Atlanta and play the last two games of the season when everyone else is done. I mean, it felt like that first game of the doubleheader, from going up early, then us. I mean, it was just like this seesaw game, and then after we tie it up, Iggy ties it up. Francisco hits that bomb. I think the next inning after they retake the league, I think that moment that kind of carried our momentum into the postseason. It's like, wow, like this is magic. Like this, you couldn't write a better script for us. Like getting in when it wasn't even the last day of the season. Like we extended the season one extra day. I think like us winning that game, it's like we won the tie break, and then just the way how it all happened, it was just like such a surreal feeling, like being able to champagne shower and then going straight to Milwaukee from there. I mean, it was just seesaw, and then just felt like the momentum just kept tipping on our side at the last second. So I think that Atlanta series, after we won that first game in the doubleheader, I think it's like, wow, this is the start of something magic, and we believed it.
And now you get to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
We got to earn it. We got to earn that right. I mean, there's nothing like postseason baseball, but there's a reason why there's 162 games, and you got to earn that right to go get there and play that fun baseball at the end of the year.
Pete.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thanks
for
Kratzy.
coming on.
Thanks, fellas.
FT.
Great
we'll be
to
right
see
back.
you, Pete. You're the man.
Thank you.
This year, there's nothing holding you back from loving your hair again. Let Nutrafol target the key root causes of your thinning hair and help you grow stronger, healthier strands from within.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol.
Building a hair growth routine is simple. Purchase online, no prescriptions required. Automated deliveries and free shipping keep you on track. Plus, with a Nutrafol subscription, you can save up to 20%.
Start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol for a limited time. Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code FOUL. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code FOUL. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code FOUL.
Right now I'm hitting Judgy second, just because we're very left-handed, especially with Giancarlo out. So I would say in that 3-hole, really, it depends who I lead off. So the 3-hole could be Jazz, it could be Belly, it could be different against a lefty. So I don't know yet.
What if somebody comes up to you and it says, I got what it takes to hit behind Judgy? Would that change your view, or are you like, nah?
You got it? No. No, because I think they all have that.
No,
the ones that are
they don't all have it.
Yeah, Belly, Jazz.
You don't have 9 guys that could hit behind Judge.
No.
There's probably 4.
Yeah, but there's some you're not even thinking yet that might factor in, especially as the season unfolds. Okay. But I think it'll be Jazz or
Dominguez. That was a Dominguez.
Jazz.
That's what I was.
That was a Dominguez right there.
Jazz or Belly. Well,
who would I want? Or
Volpe's
you're just saying Jazz?
No, I'm saying versus a righty. I would say Jazz
so
or
left, right,
Belly
left.
could be leading off, or Dominguez,
And
or Austin Wells. I mean, so we'll see.
He has
Belly's
experience doing it.
Yeah,
Belly is the answer. I don't know if he's the one that's doing the music in the clubhouse, but the music in the clubhouse when I was in there was awesome. So Francisco Lindor, welcome. Thanks for coming on. Welcome to FT.
What's up, Francisco? Great to have you on, man. And great to see you. Obviously, we always love to do this during spring training. Hey, you got a game today. That first 5 in the lineup looks pretty fire. Is that what we're going to get opening day?
I don't know. I pay me to play shortstop, so
You don't manage,
I don't manage. I don't want to manage either.
but they got you in front of Soto.
Yeah.
Did Nimmo come over and say, "I want that spot"? You guys gonna have like a wrestling match?
No wrestling match. I'm 5'9". I don't wrestle.
Oh, stop!
Hey,
Just because
hey,
he's
they don't-
taller.
I'm a
They
lover.
don't
I'm not a
know.
fighter. I'm a lover.
Hey,
Okay.
Frankie's wide from chest to back, man. Frankie's wide. Don't get it twisted. My boy is he don't.
I'm good. I'm a
Okay,
lover. I'm
okay.
a lover. It's just at the end of the day.
Yeah, you are. Hey, let
me.
me tell you this. Yeah.
Go ahead,
I was
Cam.
gonna tell you this. Speaking of being a lover, dog, Frankie, I had two different stints with Frankie. One was early with Cleveland, and he was hurt. And I remember I'm older than Frankie, but he has such a wise aura, such a old soul, right? Such a helpful soul. And I remember him giving advice on sacrificing that bats early in the season. Do you remember this, Frankie? We talked about like sacrificing at bats, and when I'm not feeling good, I'll take 10 to 15 at bats and just go, I'm gonna just try to hit a line drive at the shortstop. And then when I got over there with you guys to the Mets, it was like, what do you need? You need shades, you need BGs, even though I'm like a double XL. This dude, like, I just want people to know how amazing of a teammate, how caring and giving this guy is. So the aura that you got right now, I just want to tell you, man, I appreciate it, and I want people to know that about you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, we all, we grow and we turn in every year. We hope we better ourselves. And Cleveland was a younger version of myself, and yeah, it was just I was fortunate enough to come up through the system and play with guys that were much more advanced than me. So I learned, and just you gotta sacrifice something sometimes to get something out of it, And then I get put in a situation where I have a lot of things. I'm blessed with all the items, I guess. So share the love.
Who was that guy that you feel like
Michael Brantley. Michael Brantley was
so pro.
amazing. Michael Brantley, and then Michael Vilas also helped me a lot too. Just hanging out around those guys. I mean, I came up, and the first thing that Francona said to me is like, "Hey, today somebody lost a job. Just be smart how you act in the clubhouse." And Mikey Vilas, who was playing shortstop at the time, he said, "Nino, it's your turn," and he pushed me every single day to be better, and that helped me a lot.
Did they give you a hard time? Like, were they?
Yeah, of course.
So do you give these guys a hard time?
I talk a lot of shit.
That's what I mean.
So if talking crap, it's a hard time, then yeah.
Well, but that's what they did to you. And normally those vets, you reciprocate that onto the other guys. So like, if I ask Vientos when he comes in here, is he gonna say like
that I'll talk a lot of crap? Yeah,
Frankie kind of gets on me a little bit.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there was some players that talk crap, but they had my back, and they legitimately wanted the best for me, and others talk crap because
they were intimidated by you.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
They were. So, be honest.
So I try to be the one that talks and also push the players to be better and be there for them and back them up whenever I got to back them up.
Okay, and you are a leader, but let's get to the fun stuff, right? And I want to just talk about this because everything now, me being on this side, when I make a statement or comment, I only speak from experience, right? So I made a tweet during the Juan Soto free agency, and I said, hey, I'm going to be real with y'all. Like, I just personally think that the New York Mets is more of a vibe. Like, it fits his personality more. Now, I was kind of insinuating really the Latin culture, right? You there, Sugar there. Like some of my former teammates that I just know, like I know how y'all get it in, right? The music is going to be playing loud. People are going to be smiling. It's going to be a different type of energy, right? Still professional, but a carefree energy. For you, having Juan, and I see clips of you guys smiling ear to ear, talk about him being in that clubhouse now and talk about the vibe. Like, how is it? And then having Pete back as well. But how was the vibe having a guy like Juan Soto in the clubhouse, a guy that you've known for years?
Yeah, the vibes are good. The vibes are good. Everybody's in a good spot. Everybody's ready to compete. And like you said, I think you tweeted something out. Or is it called Twitter? No, it's
Twitter.
X.
Well,
Eh,
X, Twitter. We know what
X.
you're talking about.
Yeah. You made Dykeman. I think you said it. I think
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
I said Queens is gonna be like the Dykeman.
Yeah.
So he saw it.
Yeah. And I didn't take it in the wrong way. I don't think no one's taking that in the wrong way. I think it's the reality. There's a lot of there's like a culture thing, but it's not just like I don't want this to turn into like, oh, we all lions. That's not how it
Mhm.
is. It's about the culture that Stearns and Mendoza and we are in the Coens and we're trying to have here. It's about having fun, respect each other, respect the game, and go out there and enjoy it. Don't back down from any challenges, and um, while we at it, we're gonna enjoy it. I mean, last year we had a concert in the middle of the year.
Put not just a concert was put on by
Yeah.
by your teammate
Yeah.
Jose Iglesias.
Yeah, and it was fantastic. We loved it. We had a blast. I don't think that's gonna happen this year.
Okay.
We don't have any singers in the team as of right now, but it's just everybody's enjoying coming to work, and I think that's one step that you have to take in order if you want to be in a successful franchise, in a franchise that is going to win a World Series. You have to love to come to work.
You have to come together, love to come together, and
Yeah.
I think you've built that.
Yeah.
So as soon as you got to the Mets,
Mhm.
how many days was it until you started recruiting Juan when you were playing against him? Like, what was the first time that you remember saying something to Juan? Like, I know you're at the Nats right now, and then he went to the Padres, and then he went to the Yankees, and he finally became a free agent. What was the first time you remember, just dropping like a text, just dropping like something at a game?
We never really talked about it. I did talk to him on the base path,
Right.
on the bases whenever he was with the Nationals, but we didn't really talk about, hey, when you become a free agent, I'll see you out here. I never really talked about that. I did tell him years ago about being smart and going through a process, but it was when I was in Cleveland. It wasn't even like, hey, we're gonna be teammates. It was just like, be smart. You just go through a process. Don't skip steps because everything's gonna work out.
Just helping another guy out, helping another player.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna let you go, but I have to ask you. You were one inning away from winning a World Series.
Yeah.
Did last year sting almost as much?
Saying goodbye, it sucks. Like that feeling of like you're in the moment. You feel like you can capture the moment. You can finish it, and saying goodbye just sucks. So yeah, it stings. 2016. It hurts. I hate losing. Yeah, it hurts.
That's good.
All right,
Francisco.
appreciate you.
Gracias.
De nada.
FT.
Guys, take
Again,
care.
we'll be right back.
Appreciate
Yes, I conducted a bunch of interviews for Fox earlier this week that will be put together later in the season when we have the Giants on Fox. And in those conversations, that's what Posey said to me. Hey, when I went after this guy, it wasn't simply to be the father figure to the staff. It was because I believe he can be Justin Verlander, maybe not the Justin Verlander of 2006 or even 2022 or whatever, but someone who is really, really good. And Verlander clearly believes that as well. And so far, it's early, I know, but he seems to be recovered from his neck and shoulder problems from last year. He's feeling good about himself. And his goal still is 300 wins. And I don't know that he'll get there. He's 38 shy. But if there's ever a guy you want to bet on, it's him. And he keeps himself in great shape. He told me he wants to pitch until he's 45. He just turned 42 yesterday. It's not a set goal or anything like that, but he always idolized Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan pitched until he was 46. So with Verlander, guys, I just find him so fascinating. He has such a history in the game. He has made so much history in the game. And to see him now, and Max Scherzer the same, and with Toronto, to see these guys trying again.
It's 1 year, $5 million for Andrew Heaney to join the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're still spending a little bit of money right now. What was your thought on that signing, and just any overall thoughts on the Pirates, as we haven't talked about them in a minute?
Just looking at it from Heaney's perspective, obviously the money's not where he would have wanted it to be. I would think he would have wanted somewhere in the $10 million range. He's a pretty accomplished pitcher in his own way. He's not an ace, I get it, but he is someone that you would have thought in a market that originally was quite hot for starting pitchers might have done better. But what's interesting about this to me is he gets to join a rotation that is pretty good, right? Jerry Jones, Mitch Keller, and Paul Skeens. So now you add Heaney to that, and for the Pirates, that's a pretty formidable group. Now, I still question their offense. Their big offensive addition, Spencer Horwitz, is already hurt. They didn't really do much else. I don't like the way the team is run, and we've all talked about that for years now. But this signing at that price should be pretty good for them.
That's my playlist. I wrote that last year. Manny, did you put the Morgan?
Earpiece, you can adjust it. Do you hear music?
Here we go. Kratz and Carlos Mendoza getting set up over at Mets camp. Mets PR crushing it, and Mets obviously bringing the vibes like they always do. Last year, they were awesome with us as well, and you can tell why this is a team that, whatever you want to call it, outperformed expectations last year, and this year the expectations are high. We'll ask Mendy about it in just a moment. Cam, let's go over our spring training schedule, because not yet, but at some point, we will see you on this schedule. So next week, AJ will run it through Blue Jays camp, Nationals camp, Astros camp, Phillies camp, and Rays camp, and bring it back to us so we can go right to our next guest, because I believe he is ready to go. Kratz, you good?
We got the Jefe.
I don't know about the Jefe.
AJ's not here. You're the Jefe. You are literally the Jefe this year and last year.
Yeah,
Look what you guys did. Carlos Mendoza.
What's up, Kratzy?
Thanks for coming on, kid. I appreciate you.
Yeah, what's going on?
Are you tired?
No, well, I just got done throwing BP, but I'm good.
A manager that throws BP, Cam. Wow. You can attest to this. Cam Maybin's on. That's your camera over there. When he asks some bad questions, that's where you can ask.
I remember throwing a Cam, launching balls,
Hey,
Cam?
Mindy, do me a favor.
Cam Maybin.
Do me a favor,
Yeah.
Mindy. Hey, hold on, Kratzy. Do me a favor, Mindy. Can you tell these guys about my pop? Like, just do me a favor. You remember Chicago?
I don't know if it was in Chicago or was in Detroit. It was one BP. This guy was like launching balls, like one ball after. I'm throwing to him like
money BP.
That's some good BP. That is some good BP.
He got me paid. Mandy got me paid. I just want to say this too. I know, guys, I started the show out with a baseballism shirt. I have my Tony Gwynn. But when Mendy sees me, he's always very judgmental of my fit, right? But not in a bad way. It's usually very complimentary.
You gotta give him credit
of my fit. So Mendy, I just want you to know, I just put this on for you right now. I'm gonna take as soon as you're done, but just for you, my guy, because I know you love and appreciate a good fit.
Clean, so like every time I saw him, he's an 80. You got to give him an 80 on a scouting grade. I always put an 80 on Cam.
I was in your clubhouse and we were talking about scouting scales and different, the 6th and 7th tools.
Right.
Cam can be an 80. That's fair. If you put it on him, you're the Jefe. Like I said,
well, he was pretty impressive. He's clean. So how you guys doing?
We're great. But we're here to talk to you, the elite recruiter of all time. You got Juan Soto to come and play for your team.
Yeah.
It was not Steve. It was not David.
It wasn't me.
You.
It was
you. How much seriously though, how much do you feel like what you helped create with the players? I know the players create the atmosphere, helped bring Juan Soto over. Everyone will say it's the money, but to me, you got to want to come and play somewhere.
100%. And you got to give credit to the players, because you just said it. That's where it starts, creating an environment where people are really looking forward to come to work. You know how, it's a long season, and this is our family here, and they created that a place where everybody feels welcome, everybody is treated the same, with respect and things like that. And at the end of the day, we keep it fun too. They get after, they prepare, they hold each other accountable, but we keep it fun. And yes, yeah, you mentioned Juan Soto. You got to give credit to a lot of people, obviously our owners, Steve and Alex, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And David, pretty busy off season for him as well. But I'm glad that we were able to get Juan, and now he's a Met.
All we've talked about, even when I first came on, I was in the clubhouse and I'm like, geez, like the vibe, like you guys, we just said the word vibe all the time. Has there been any, and you even kind of alluded to it, has there been any moments where you've had to be like, whoa, like we're squashing this? You guys had a lot of gimmicks last year. You guys had pumpkins.
Yeah,
You knew all about Grimace. You got, like, you've seen OMG's concert. Lindor was just sitting here. Francisco was just sitting here, he said, seriously, we had a concert.
For me, that was like, because I didn't know what was happening. I knew, hey, we're winning today. Iglesias is singing. So, but I'm thinking he's in the clubhouse. He's in the locker, Before we know it, we have fireworks and we're having a concert. I'm like, wow, I think this is a little too much. I'm glad we won the next day, because I was like, what if we lose 2 or 3 in a row here? And now it becomes, well, that was the concert,
Right.
So, but yeah, we had everything. But I think that one right there kind of was like,
you felt like you had to say, like, you didn't say something, but you were aware of it. But did you ever have to say something where it was like, all right, we're getting a little outside, because you have to have parameters of some kind. I'm not talking about no facial hair policy, but
no, it wasn't, as a group. It was more like individual conversations, like, hey, man, like, there's a lot of people talking about this and that. Like, we got to go play baseball. You got to prepare. You got to go out there. You got to compete, and we got to get the job done. That's what it's all about. You got to go out there and you got to get the job done. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm addressing the hitters, or I'm addressing the team or the pitch. No, it was more like one-on-one conversations. It was like, hey, man, we know we got a lot of noise and this, and we got to go play baseball, and that was basically it.
Good. Yeah. Pop that earpiece in if you can, so you can hear Cam. He'll talk to you right out of that camera and into your ear.
Now you got me, Mindy?
I got you.
So, I know it was your first year, but, through my experience, talk about certain guys are leaders of men, guys like yourself, just being able to be around you for that year and getting to know you and having conversations with yourself. Guys like Pat Murphy, guys like Booney, guys like Terry Francona, and now yourself. I know it's only 1 year in, but, I want to ask you, what do you think it takes to come into a clubhouse and, gain a respect? How did you grab that clubhouse? Because I'm a believer that the captain isn't the best player. I think it starts with the manager. And I've always thought, being around you would be a great manager because of how you communicate, because of how you show empathy and let people know you've been in their shoes before. I think that's a very special trait. What is it for you that qualified you or made you feel confident about going across town to manage, a franchise like the New York Mets?
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. It means a lot, Cam. It starts with trust. You got to earn the trust from your players, and they got to be able to trust you. And that takes time. That doesn't happen overnight. And I knew coming in with the players that I had on that roster, established players, elite players. So I knew I had work to do. I needed to develop the relationships. I needed to earn their respect. I needed them to trust me. As much as I needed to get to know them, they needed to get to know myself. Having honest conversations, coming from, he's just telling guys the truth, like straight shooter. At this level, guys know when you're BS them. It is easy. And again, it takes time to develop this relationship. And for me, it wasn't just spring training. It was getting out of the gate, and we didn't play well. But being myself, understanding that it's a long year. You have good players, and just again being myself. Let the personality, let the coaches do their job. So for me, it was more like earning that trust, and I felt like we got to a point, especially after the first couple of months, where guys were like, "All right, it's not just Mendy talking to me in spring training and how great and this." No, it wasn't easy, and I'm glad that we were able to click, and again, having honest conversations, Cam. Being humble and being consistent, understanding that it's a hard game, and guys will struggle at times, and there's gonna be times where you need to pull him aside and with respect hold him accountable. And there's some tough conversations, but as a player, you appreciate that. You want honesty. You want people to shoot you straight, and that's how you earn their trust.
I've seen you as a bench coach. I've seen you as a manager now, and I didn't have you as a manager, but I've seen you off the field with your family. I can attest, if anybody asks, you're the same guy. As you say, consistency.
Yeah.
But did you ever ask since Juan signed, have you asked your old buddy, Booney, any particulars about Juan? Like, hey, does he like this? Does he not like this? Anything that you in conversation that you guys have had?
No, not in details. It was more like, what do you got? And everything that I got, not only from Booney, from a lot of people that I know from the Yankees, it was like, what a great human this guy is. This guy is special. Everybody sees what he does on the field, but it's just the quality of the person. And that's what we're seeing here so far in the last couple of weeks, that he's been around every day, that he's a humble guy. He's human, and that's basic. Booney was like, you're going to love him. This guy is great. He wants to be the best out there. And that's what we're seeing so far. So that was basically the messaging that I got from him and from a lot of people from the Yankees.
Is it weird? I mean, did he come in and he say, I'm probably going to be here longer than you?
He didn't say that.
He didn't say it? Okay.
He doesn't have to say it. Once you get on this seat, man, like,
they're already opening the door for you on the way out.
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is, but that comes with the territory, Kratzy. And I'm just glad that I got him here. I'm here with him, so we'll roll with it.
Good.
Hey, Mendy. So you talk about last year. A lot went right when you talk about starting pitching, and you talk about Sevy having a great year for you guys. Quintana was good as well. Now you got a familiar face, that you're back with, in Clay Holmes, going to be in a starting role. He's looked great thus far. Are you concerned about the early injuries? I know it's a long season. I seen you guys just sign my old teammate, Urena. He's an innings eater. He's gonna gobble up a lot of innings. He had a really good year last year. Really kind of shined out of the pen. What are your expectations as far as kind of commanding and controlling the staff and getting things back in order?
Yeah, we feel good. Listen, you hate to see two guys go down before March, but we kept talking about our depth. We kept talking about, some of the guys that we were able to bring in, whether it was a Griffin Canning, Paul Blackburn coming from that freaky injury, Clay Holmes making that transition, Senga, this is a guy that we didn't have last year. And knock on wood, right now, everything is trending in the right direction. So I'm really looking forward to watch Senga pitch for a full year. David Peterson took a huge step forward last year. Tylor McGill, this is a guy that I'm really excited about this year. He's been in the league now. He's up and down. But this is a guy that sits at 96, 97. He's got really good stuff. Like, he should be a guy in this league. And, we're counting on him. So, yes, we lost Montas. Manaea should be back, hopefully by the end of April. He's, trending in the right direction as well. I know there's people talking a lot about our rotation. We feel good with what we have in camp. We feel good with our rotation. We feel good with our depth. We added Urena. So we still got a long ways to go before we break camp, but we feel good about it, Cam.
Spring training should be over now.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
It's too cold up there. You don't want to go up there right now.
True, but man, like the other day we're playing, and I was like, wow, it's like 3:30, and man, 17 is like
in the sun.
Yes, we felt it that day. trying to keep Gibby awake.
Gibby was one of my old managers too. I have so many good Gibby stories. I'm glad I got to connect with him. Mendy, I'd like to tell FT fam you're going to be joining us on a regular basis, hopefully, during the season.
That's right.
So if you're a Mets fan, our Metsed up people, we appreciate you joining us. But we're excited. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah,
but we're excited to run the season with you.
That's right. Looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mendy.
FT?
Yeah, this is awesome.
Good luck, Mendy.
We'll
Thanks,
catch
guys.
you soon.
BRB.
Appreciate you. What's up, FT fam? All right, Cam, it's a good start. That's a solid start here. Talking to Big Polar Bear and then our guy Francisco Lindor and Carlos Mendoza about what's going on with the New York Mets right now. A lot of confidence, which can be created in a variety of ways. Number one, let's remember last year they were counted out by just about everyone, not just at the start of the season, but then they had a slow start to the season. So then everyone's like, okay, cool. This checks out. This team's in a transition. 2 years ago, they had the highest payroll in baseball. It didn't work out. They traded some guys away, and then they were going to have the transition year. Well, damn, a transition year to the NLCS? I think anyone would sign up for that.
Yeah, especially now, too, when you add some very quality additions, and you also get some guys with experience, as you heard the Polar Bear talk about, some guys that they're looking towards to take that next step in growth. So, and it starts with that guy that we just had on. And I think that's important that we continue to acknowledge that, the teams that win, yes, the Dodgers are great. Yes, the Braves are great. Yes, the Yankees are great. But it starts with the guys at the helm, and that's the manager. And I think just sitting and talking to Carlos Mendoza, you can feel his confidence. And you talk about accountability. He's a guy who holds himself accountable. So the players look forward to holding each other accountable. So I think that's important. And, I think adding Pete back was huge. And I don't know about you, Scott. I don't know if you could feel it. Maybe it's just something. I've got this little like intuition or innate feeling. Pete was doing that interview and he kind of just it feels like he has a chip on his shoulder. Like I know a lot of people will say, well, he just got paid. And I'm telling you, I think we're going to see a monster of a man when you talk about the Polar Bear this season.
Yeah, it's hard for people to conceptualize because it's so much money, but in his mind, he has a chip on his shoulder. And that is why you take a 2-year contract instead of a 3-year contract, because the 2-year has more average annual value. And he's like, I'm Pete Alonso. I'm going to go smash it like it's 2022 or 2023 or the 2024 postseason. And last thought on this, then we'll get back to FT with Charge the Mound and Kratz. I liked your point. I mean, you told me off the screen here, Yankees should have been interested in someone like Pete, among other teams, Nationals, etc. At that rate, and maybe they wouldn't have gotten the same exact, quote, discount, but damn, he should have gotten more love. I get how the market works, and I explained that during the offseason, but that doesn't mean it's right.
And there's no staff of character. Dudes.
All right, FT, let's charge the damn mound. Kratz, good to see you. Let's go over a few things from yesterday. This one will tug at your heartstrings, okay? Jake Berger homered yesterday with his 4-month-old daughter, Penelope's hospital band. She underwent successful open heart surgery early this week. So we're thinking about the Berger family and young Penelope, but also you guys are one of few that can speak about this, Kratz. Whether you've experienced any type of hardship and then had to play ball or been around any of that, how do you put it into words? Because the average human tries to take off from work or does something else to be able to counter this. And in baseball, you don't really get that much of a break from spring training through the end of your year. I mean, the most I think you can take off without it being like a true personal leave, the whole deal is I think 3 days during paternity leave is what you're allowed.
There's definitely family emergency type of stuff, but
sure,
like you go through the same thing. What people forget, I think, is you go through the same things that everybody else goes through. Death in the family. My grandfather died right before Game 1 of the World Series, my only time ever to the World Series. I remember one time I got a call in the middle of a game that my daughter fell and hit her rib and was getting sent to the emergency room. I got pulled out of a spring training game because my son back in 2010 was being rushed to the emergency room at a hospital. And all this stuff is happening when you're not there. When you're not there, like, yes, people can be at work and it might take you 45 minutes to drive home from work, but all this stuff is happening when you're in another city. Or you might even be in your home city where you're playing, but it's still another city. Like Milwaukee is not where I lived. Kansas City is not where I live. So all that stuff, like, think of it, we go through the same things, and then the next day you have to go out and perform at the highest level. The pitcher never says, okay, well, we're going to ease off a little bit because Jake's daughter just had open heart surgery. Like, and like, it's hard to explain unless you've been in that exact situation, but you still have to perform. There's no, your teammates feel for you, the manager feels for you, but they can't take away what is going on inside your heart, in your chest, in your mind. And that's what you have to fight through as a player, unfortunately.
Yeah, and to just add to EK's point, I felt so many different emotions when I heard the story. One, my heart went out, to Jake as, we are, Erik and myself are fathers and we have kids and I have a daughter. And, I thought about how cutthroat the business is, right? And a part of me thought about it from a standpoint of, just like Kratz kind of alluded to, not only does he have a heavy heart, but this is how these guys provide for their families. And Jake Burger is a guy who, essentially is, I call him a grinder. And that means a guy who he has to go out and fight for a position, right? And, with this going on, with a heavy heart, he knows at the same time he probably has to get back because there's somebody else who, again, who we may feel for what's going on, but somebody's always trying to take your position. So I had so many different emotions. I also thought, how amazing of a wife, does he have to say, "Go, babe, go back to camp," right? Because I don't think that's just a Jake Burger decision. I think when you're married, you have a family, these are things that you consult with, with your spouse. Should I go back? Should I say screw it? Should I take whatever comes my way and stay with you guys? But I think, a testament to her strength for probably encouraging him to get back to working. And lastly, a lot of people do things outside of work or outside of their normal activities to kind of give them a sense of peace. And for a lot of athletes, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, for me, playing baseball was, the place where I felt most at peace when my world was the most chaotic. So I think also too, him getting back and playing baseball was a part of him helping him cope with what is going on, because most guys that play this game, we play it because we love it. The money is great, but we started playing it because we had a passion for it. So I think also too, it was a way for him to just breathe for a second and be able to cope with what's going on right now.
Yeah, incredible. It's not just coming back, just to come back and play. And obviously it's spring training, so whatever. I mean, he's a veteran, he's got a spot, but to come back and then hit a homer, there's a lot going on. But anyway, thinking about the fam most importantly. So let's try and get to a couple other highlights here. Bobby Witt Jr., first dinger of spring training. Just getting in the flow. That's all. Kratzy getting
Just
in the flow,
out.
trying to be an MVP. Yeah. Only a runner-up last year, Cam.
Yeah, I always say it's like that
too,
meat.
Cam.
Your wife tells you to take that meat out the freezer and you forget. He's just thawing out. Spring training, that's all. He's just thawing. He's thawing out. He's gonna be just fine.
Come on, Cam. You ain't got no steaks in the freezer. You don't freeze now that you're only eating fresh, organic.
I didn't say steak.
Yep.
But every once in a while, man, you buy in bulk and you got to throw something in the freezer, man. It happens. Bobby Witt just thawing out like that meat in the freezer. He's good. I'm excited. I'm excited for what the Royals continue to do.
Well, there's one part of Bobby Witt's game. Wait, there's one part here. I just remembered this that I think he spoke about yesterday. When you're that good and then you're trying to figure out how you can improve. I didn't look at the stat, but it did come to mind. So he brought something up that I think you guys will find interesting. So Cam, basically said, I'm paraphrasing here, he shouldn't be caught stealing as often as he is because he's so damn fast. 31 stolen bags last year, caught 12 times. Year before that, 49 stolen bags. Actually led in caught stealing that year, 15. And I think the percentage actually was technically worse last year because he stole 31 bags and got caught 12 times. So if we want to nitpick and find something wrong with a top 5 player in our sport, he pointed it out. You got to love that, right? He's like, damn, I'm too fast to be caught this often. Let's fix that.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
something that he can actually focus on in spring training and be like, all right, let me talk to the analytics staff. Let me talk to the coaching staff and be like, here's my goal. 40 plus bags, 5 caught stealing or less. Go.
So I'll toot my own horn. The best I ever, best I ever had was 40 for 44. But I also had a guy named Dave Roberts and a guy named Ricky Rizzaria. And when you talk about analytic departments, right, these were my analytic base running coaches. And one thing they did extremely well is they would take me into the video room and we would watch pickoffs to first when guys go home, when they come set, like how guys sometimes even when they come set, they come up different when they're going to pick or go to home. So even now when you add this clock into play and guys' brains, yes, we're getting used to it, but every once in a while the game can still speed up on guys. I think Bobby Witt needs to go in that video room. His analytic department needs to take a second, whoever the guy is in there, and he needs to go, hey, give me every slide step, every pick to first, every pitch to home, where he can start to find these tendencies. It's real, especially now with this clock. I know guys are getting in routines when they go home, when they pick. So I think just being a little bit more of a student of the game. And the other thing, when I watch Bobby Witt, I believe he could get a little bit more on his lead. I do think there's another step out there that he can get, and I think he'll continue to get better. But he's absolutely right. He's too fast to get thrown out that much. And again, accountability is where it starts.
Sometimes you just got to go, too. Rusty Kuntz was the epic base running coach / first base coach for our 14 and 15 team with the Royals. And he's taught a lot of coaches just little stuff like Cam was talking about. People are like, well, what is Cam talking about? What Cam's talking about is dudes tipping if they're picking over. And if you can get that read, I can get a stolen base. And I was slow as dirt. So you sit there and you go, Bobby Witt increases his efficiency. But sometimes when you try to increase your efficiency, you become like, I don't know if I can quite make it. But learning that little stuff that I'm sure he's been taught, but now seeing it on his own, that's how you up that efficiency and you get thrown out less and you actually take more chances.
Damon Hollins
and it's
is the
people
first
around
base
you
coach now, by the way, for the Royals. Yep.
And I don't know, sometimes I get conflicted on what I'm supposed to tell and what secrets I'm supposed to, allow out there, right? I can tell it all. So also too, this is important. It's not always about the player. I had a guy named Ron Renicky. Ron Renicky was the best third base coach I ever had, Kratzy. And he would help me when I got to first base. He had this little tip where he would stand off the back of the pitcher, and whatever he saw, he would just look to the outfield, and I knew the guy was going home. So he was like, whenever you see me, look to the outfield, and it might be late, stay on me. But because you can see, you're watching the pitcher, and you can see that third base coach right off the back of him, he's right in your peripheral. I must have reeled off 20 to 25 in a row, right? Like that little cat and mouse game. Whether the catcher was tipping when something was coming home or what was, he had something where I literally knew every time I stole, and it was like 24 in a row. We probably can look it up, something crazy in 17, where it was just like I knew the pitcher was going home. So again, it's not just it's about the people around you as well is the point. Bobby Witt is a great athlete, but sometimes as coaches, you might could do a little bit more to help your team out.
Cam, you said it, and I called a team out last year about, hey, you know what? Some coaches are going to have to pick some stuff up. When veterans leave, this is the kind of stuff that, you have to pick up. This is the kind of stuff. I do that, what you just talked about, I do that with my high school team. You can't do it with everybody, but you're talking about, let's say a lefty's looking at you. Well, that lefty comes set up here. You can see if this dude's, gripping that big curveball. You can see different stuff. Now, if it's a righty and he's looking directly at the third base coach, every time he comes set in the middle, you can't see that from first. But you can see it because he's looking directly at you, and I had a manager in AAA because he's a third base coach. He'd just do an open hand. He's just doing an open hand. Or he's like, I'll just bend down. And he's like, trust me. There has to be a trust there because you're not seeing it yourself. There has to be trust, and that, to me, is what puts players into all-star categories, puts teams into playoffs, puts playoff teams into the World Series. That little stuff from coaches.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what trust is? Cam stealing 20-something bases in a row, and Cam's like, whatever you do, Ron, I'm running if you tell me to run at this point. That's heat check, Cam. You know what that is, heat check. I'm going to keep doing it until I get caught, seriously. Right?
I think I reeled off like 4 against the Astros against Verlander in one game or something, and they were like, what? I remember getting a second base, and they're like, what do we do? What do we got? What are you doing? I'm like, I just one of these days, bud.
Wait, I have that article. It says Cam Maybin completes rare feat, 4 steals in win. First game back. Wait, was this it? First game back from
I think I sprained MCL. Yeah, I sprained MCL.
Golly,
4 bags.
You were parking in the handicap spot and stealing 4 bags. You came back ready.
I had my sticker. I was parking close. I told him I had to save it for the game. I needed to park close. But again, but I give credit when credit's due. It's about the resources sometimes. Sometimes we look at, okay, what can this player get? Again, I say Ronald Acuna, when he reeled off all of those bags, who was his first base coach? One of the best to ever do it.
TP.
No, I think it was EY. I think Eric Young was over there.
Oh, that's right. You're right. TP
but
was earlier.
But you know what I mean? I remember playing with Eric Young Jr. And he's like, yeah, my dad is like, if the guy comes set and his foot is turned just slightly in, or if his foot is slightly open, or if this guy comes set 3 times with his front foot, this is coming from the stuff that his dad taught him. And then you look at what the Braves have done, what they did while he was there, or look at wherever he's went. They've stole a ton of bases because guys, they're looking at different things. It's not just always on the player. Sometimes you need some extra eyes to go, hey, Roy Oswalt had a little birdie. They called it a birdie. Roy Oswalt, when he came straight up, he would go home and he would pick. And then when he went down and he would go like a little birdie, like this little motion, he would go home every time. So just understanding that and doing your homework, those little things can make a lot of guys more efficient.
Yeah, Ellie, Scotty, this is why fantasy level is going up. Fantasy value for Bobby, fantasy value for Ellie. If Ellie, Doc was saying it last year, Dave Roberts said it last year when they played against him, this guy doesn't even know how to steal bases yet. When Ellie can start unlocking this kind of stuff, whoo-wee. And that wasn't a knock on Ellie. Take that over. Take that 59 and a half. Take the over.
Yeah, that was a compliment, Kratz. You're right.
Yeah.
Definitely. You're right. That's a compliment, actually. Yeah, seriously. I learned so much from those guys. It's important, but you're right. He hasn't even scratched the surface. That's going to be scary. Again, I love foul territory. I'm not going anywhere. I know some teams are probably going to be calling me to come be the base running guy after they watch this episode. I'm good with my guys.
All right. Let's do this. Let's step aside real quick. I think we have Sean Manaea joining us in a few minutes. So we'll be right back, FT fam. All right, let's hit locks. BetMGM futures. The regular season home run leader will be who? Aaron Judge at plus 260, leading the board by far. Then it's Ohtani at plus 600, Schwarber plus 1100, Pete Alonso plus 1600, Yordan Alvarez plus 1600. Kratz, where do we see value on the board?
The man that is probably his sweat is still on this chair, and I'm not talking about Francisco Lindor. Pete Alonso. I mean, what Cam said in the one break I was listening to you guys, he said he kind of seems like there's a chip on his shoulder. And some people think that's like a I'm mad at the world kind of thing. No, I think he just is like, I went through free agency once. I didn't have the year that Pete should have. Pete Alonso, plus 1,600. Lock it in.
Cam, what do you got?
Yeah, let me. Can I see that list one more time? Kratzy. It's easy to agree with Kratzy.
Jordan Alvarez is a nice candidate too, as they're going to give him more DH time. Judge, it's too easy with Judge. Cam, that's plus 260 for me for a home run leader. That's just not enough value on the board. And I don't want Ohtani with the pitching he's coming off of, and he's going to get some off days in there.
Man, yeah. For the money,
got to be quick. Going back.
I want to say Pete. I got to say Pete. For the money, Pete.
Same here.
He posts more than Jordan. I just can Jordan stay healthy enough? I don't know.
Yep, I'm with you.
Also think about that. Pete's on the field a lot.
Yep, durable. Pete for me. All right, it's raining threes and bonus bets, baby. If you want to watch some hoops this weekend, you have a chance every Sunday to win some big-time bonus bets by picking a player you think is going to make it rain from downtown. You opt into the Sunday Splash Jackpot promotion only on the BetMGM app or on BetMGM.com. Place a $10 or more NBA player three-pointer bet, up to one eligible bet per game on Sunday. And if your player scores the most threes on that Sunday, you win a share of $50K in bonus bets. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Be right back, FT fam. All right, here we go. Cam, we're back as we're getting ready for Sean Manaea to get set up, sitting next to Erik Kratz. And I will ask you about this. We might turn this into a question for Sean as well, but we haven't had you on in a minute. So he's ready to go. Never mind. I will save that question and I will ask it to you later. Sean Manaea joining us right now. Kratz, take it away.
The Sean Manaea. Last year, the biggest story was your haircut. This year,
Yeah.
biggest story is you're back. I appreciate you coming back on for us.
Of course. Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, how did it come together? How did it come together? You coming back, you being back with this team. Obviously, everyone wants to come back to the team that we didn't quite finish it.
Mhm.
And everybody wants to come to the team that gives you 3 years, $75 million. That's easy too, but somebody was going to give it to you. How did it come together?
I feel like, I don't know, this is my third time hitting free agency. It wasn't like that much different.
Okay.
It was just kind of like a lull in the off season for a couple months. And then, all of a sudden, got a lot of calls, and then it was like, all right, we're making a deal. And, it's pretty much what happened here. But I kind of just knew, being back with the Mets would be great. And, kind of priority number one. So, that's what happened. And, I feel like the organization reciprocated that, and here we are. So, yeah, it's great.
You make it sound so easy. Everybody else has 3-hour meetings, need to learn the dev chart, see what's going on. You're like, I'm just going to go up and sling the rock up there. And
Yeah, that's kind of my life motto. Just try to make things as easy as possible. And the more complicated, the worse it gets. So I've learned that over the years, and I really like simplification of things. And it's where we're at.
how simple is this oblique thing? Now we know you guys are going to be a playoff team, a World Series aspirations. Is this still an oblique thing that you would say, I probably could have pitched through it had we known we're not going all the way into October?
Right now, it's just easy because, season hasn't started yet.
Right.
Might as well just get it out of the way now and kind of nip it in the bud before it becomes something very, very serious. And, just kind of where we're at. I feel fine physically, at this point, just kind of making sure everything's good and stable and no lasting residual effects. And then we'll go from there.
Hey, Sean, I want to ask you. First off, congrats on everything, my guy. Congrats on
Thank you. I
everything
appreciate
that you've accomplished and achieved. But I faced you in your earlier days and in your younger days out in Oakland, and even then, I thought you were funky. I thought it was a tough look, a tough, you know, a tough arm slot to pick up. But you still have continued to progress and continue to try to get better. And last year, you had an incredible year. You talked about some of those adjustments. Whose idea was it to drop the arm slot down and what allowed you to trust it? What made you trust it so quickly?
Yeah, I mean I feel like everyone's told me that. I've heard plenty of guys who become teammates say, it's like the lulling asleep to then just like the weird arm angle. So I feel like that's kind of always been part of my thing, but after a while I just couldn't. It just nothing felt good or repeatable or something where I was like going home at night and being like, yeah, like that was a great outing from like a mechanical standpoint, and I knew there was something else in there, and yeah, I mean, just that one day, the infamous, or not infamous, but the Chris Sale story, he showed up, and I was just like, all right, like let's just try it out, see what happens, and I toyed around with that idea before, but I guess I never like fully committed to it, and it just I threw a bullpen a couple days later. I talked to Hef, and the crazy part was that he didn't really notice anything. It was just like any other bullpen, and if I hadn't even asked about it, something probably wouldn't even like popped up. So over the next couple like months, I feel like my arm slot started to get like a lower and lower, which is kind of crazy to even think about because it was already pretty low to begin with. But yeah, I don't know what that was. That wasn't me like intentionally doing that. I think it just kind of just felt more and more comfortable. And, I was throwing strikes. So that's kind of always my barometer, is if I'm throwing strikes and I feel like I'm attacking guys, then, I should stop questioning it and just, go with that and trust my gut.
Well, that was going to be my next question. I was going to ask, was it a thing where it just felt like more natural, even like you do these things for so many years and you have so much success, but was it just something as simple as like, it actually just feels good from throwing down here? Like, was it less stress on your arm or elbow? Like, I was just curious because that was going to be my next question.
Yeah, I think whenever I would like mess around playing first base or shortstop, even, I would always just revert to throwing down here, and I could never even throw it. And then, I kind of, when I was younger, I would have a very hard time throwing to the bases. The yips came into effect, and once I kind of not conquered it, but got over like that hump, was when I kind of dropped down, and then I felt comfortable from there. And then, the Sale thing happened, and then I was just like thinking about it, like, why don't I just try doing that? And then, it was immediate. From like that first day, I was like, I left that game of catch, and like I still think about that day sometimes. I'm like, wow, that was like amazing. Like I could just hear like the ball coming out differently. Just like the power output I was able to like put into the ground felt way different. Just how my arm felt, it kind of actually felt like a spring and not just like muscling a ball towards home plate. It was just like, my body was aligning itself. And yeah, I mean, like that's something I'd always been like searching for a very long time. And everything just kind of went into place on that day, those next couple of days. And yeah, from that day on, it was just like, all right, well, let's just lean into this. And if nothing hurts or anything like that, then this is kind of the path that I'm going to go down, and it's ultimately what happened.
So players, we have a habit of we always want to add on, we always want to get better. I saw you did run into Chris Sale a month ago, and you had a conversation. Did you pick his brain at all? What did he give you any nuggets? Like how did that conversation go?
I wasn't. It was a cool event. Obviously, won the Cy Young, so I was just like, this is his night. And I was just gonna let him be. But he was an awesome dude. Like I didn't really, we kind of talked about some life and baseball, but I wasn't like, what are you thinking about your slider or anything like that. I was just like kind of, I don't know, just having a conversation with him, and he was really cool, especially the circumstances of that night, which is awesome. I mean, Scooble and Skeens and all these other like great people there too. So having nights like that is just you just got to soak it in, and I just he was just a cool dude overall, and I was really fortunate to have a conversation with him like that.
For everybody who doesn't know, you won the Good Guy Award given out by that's why you were at the BBWAs. People were like, well, what's he doing there? So for everybody who didn't know, the New York section, the chapter, gave you the Good Guy Award.
Yes.
But you can't win that again.
I cannot win that again. So
no, it's a one-timer.
It's a one-timer. Right. Brandon Nimmo, they said, should win it every year. So technically, they didn't really think you were that good. You were just the next best.
I'll take
wow,
it.
You're so sweet.
Nim's a hard guy to compete with as far as that. So looks like I'll just have to win a Cy Young or something like that. We'll see.
When we were at the BBWAs, we asked you about Pete. Pete hadn't signed yet.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were working out together. Based on what your biceps look like and what his biceps look like, looks like you were doing bicep days and he was more of the legs and back day. How did that signing and everything, that whole period where it looked like, it doesn't look good, it looks good, it doesn't look good. Pete, can you spot me? Like I'm about to do max squat. Like, what were those conversations like for you guys now that he's a Met again?
It goes back to me being simple. I don't really, I wasn't really fretting. I kind of believe in the universe too. So, I thought things were going to happen. And even if they didn't, they were just meant to be. So, just the fact that he's met again is such a blessing. I love everything Pete does as a human being, as a player. Just working out together makes for a good off season. So just super happy he's back.
So what does the clubhouse feel like? Because I was in there, every guest we've had on talking about vibes. Vibes maybe overused, but I'll be honest, I've seen 4 other camps, and I said this to Francisco before. Like you guys in the Orioles, the vibes are
immaculate.
Okay. Is that what you would say?
I think you can it's a long season. Everybody knows that. The way you can make it less daunting and grueling is if everyone's kind of vibing together and just having a good time, and that's half the battle. Obviously there's so many like different personalities and all these different things, all these different factors, and it's a very truly magical, special thing when you get 26 guys just all pulling in the same direction, and I think that's what we got over there. So it's it's fun to be a part of.
Sean, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Hopefully we get to see some like numbers
I saw
tattooed on your face again this year, right?
Yeah, Christian Scott had the shirt on today. It was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. FT.
Good luck, Sean.
BRB.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean. All right, here we are. We're back. We're going to go over a couple injuries here. Actually, one in Mets camp. Nick Madrigal is likely done for the season. Surgery on a fractured left shoulder. Carlos Mendoza talked about today. So that's a bummer. He was kind of filling in for the Jose Iglesias role. Iglesias has been pretty public about wanting to go back to the Mets, but it sounds like it's at least not a mutual interest for now from the Mets. We'll see if that changes, if prices change. I have no idea what's going on there, but tough loss there for the Mets. Just in terms of depth, obviously he wasn't a starter. It was more towards the end of the bench, Cam, but still a guy contact, that they were hoping to be able to replace Jose Iglesias, which in my mind is basically impossible. The clutchness that he delivered last year for that team cannot be described. It is etched in my memory the amount of time they needed a big AB and he delivered.
And not to mention defensively, he's a wizard. I mean, the guy, it's Andrelton Simmons, some of the guys I played with that were elite. He's right there amongst the top. Brandon Crawford, his glove is elite. And again, and this is no a slight to Nick Madrigal. He's not, in my eyes, the player that Jose is. I wish him a speedy recovery. But again, this was definitely more of an insurance piece. If something happened, I don't think this is as big as maybe some might be making it out to be. That's me putting it nice.
Okay. Yep, that's fair. All right, 2 more quick ones that I want to throw out there. Everyone has a Chicago connection here. So Madrigal was a Cub. This is Andrew Benintendi's report on an injury. Not great. Out 4 to 6 weeks. One of the few White Sox players who could, who projects to be above average or at least slightly. 4 to 6 weeks, non-displaced fracture of his right hand, hit by a pitch. And Nico Horner will not go to Japan for that Tokyo series to open up the season. He's still recovering from flexor tendon surgery, so he's going to stay back to rehab, and we're going to go back from break in one moment. I just want to do a PSA. The 2 games in Tokyo between the Dodgers and the Cubs do count. I saw some replies on the injury like, good, get them ready for the season. Who cares about those games? And then other people were like, yo, those games are the season. It's not an exhibition
those games
game.
matter. Like Pete said, you don't want to be going back somewhere to play 163. Those games definitely matter for sure.
Especially for a team that could be fringe playoffs. Like, those games are big. 100%. They need to try and take at least one.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
All right, that's what he said. Martin Perez, who's a good dude, good fella. Kratz, good interview, always very open about giving his time, but also very optimistic. So I want to get the player perspective here. Kratz, you can start it off. I'll give you the quote, and then you just let me know if this is okay to say because you want to have faith that things are going to go well, or if you should just sugarcoat it, because it's tough. I mean, we even spoke to AJ Hinch at the awards event a month ago, and he was like, the Twins are good. Obviously we're going to be good. The Royals, the Guardians. And then he's like, so anyway, and everyone talks about the White Sox that way. So Martin Perez, new signing for the White Sox, said this yesterday, quote, people think we're not contenders, but we're going to be contenders. We're here for a reason. I know we don't have a lot of names, superstars. What we've got is what we've got. And then he continued, and this is our buddy Chuck Garfine, who covers the White Sox, with these quotes. This from Martin Perez, the follow-up. You have to go out and compete with players that we have. That is one thing I'm trying to tell my teammates. Nobody believes in us. The first person who has to believe is us. If we believe, we're going to be fine. Let's just get back to the contenders word. Do you put that out there, or do you try and sugarcoat it if you're on that team? Because there is a 0% chance they're going to be a playoff contender.
0%. But as a player, if I thought 0% was my chance of making the big leagues, you know what would have happened? You never make the big leagues. Not everybody's a superstar. So as a player, you're optimistically naive, maybe? You just think you are, as we got, maybe. We just keep getting just bangers of guests. Another guest coming in. But you have to be positive. You have to be positive. If you're not positive about what you can do, like, you're kind of wasting your time, and it's going to be a long season. I have no problem with him saying this. Doesn't mean he's right. I just know he's not going to be right. They're not going to be contenders, but they're going to get after it a little bit.
All right. While you're getting set up there, we'll get Cam's reply, and then we'll go to you.
Well, let me just say this. Where there's delusion, there's hope. So, hey, you know what I'm saying? I think a hopeful mentality is a good mentality. But I think most importantly is the White Sox need to develop a culture of winning. And what I mean by developing a culture of winning, I think about my first few seasons. It took me like 8 or 9 seasons before I even made it to the playoffs. Then I remember going to the Astros, and I remember even after a win, I was ready to go to the shower, like coming in quick. It was just what I had got used to. And Carlos Beltran said, hey, slow down. Take a second. Just sit down. And he waited for everybody to come in the clubhouse. And what we did was we acknowledged the guys that really stepped up. Was it the bullpen guy? Was it the closer? Did the starter give us an outstanding start? Did somebody get a guy over and we got to run in? We took a second to appreciate what it took to win that night. And what's getting lost in our game is guys are, they get out the clubhouse quick when they win. And then when we lose, we sit around and we sulk in it. And I think that clubhouse needs to develop a culture, right? Whoever the veteran is in that clubhouse, send out a text message, a text group. Hey, let's kick their ass today, guys. Let's show the world that we're not to be messed with, that we're going to compete. Like, some veteran guy needs to start that winning culture mentality, and that's where you start. And then we put all the me stuff aside. Hey, today, let's find a way to win, because if we win, nobody's going to point fingers about who's playing terrible. So I think that's what they need to do, and it needs to start now. What did we do to win this game today? And let's appreciate it. Let's talk about it. And that's just not come to the locker room and leave immediately and be worried about what's going on outside. Let's take a minute to value how hard it was to win a Major League Baseball game.
All right, good stuff. Let's get to David Peterson. Kratz, take it away, dude.
I mean, I just said it, but you said David Peterson. I just said it. I'm like, your first year was 2020? I felt like we played against each other before that, probably in the bushes.
Probably, yeah.
Probably. Place you don't want to go back to. And pretty much last year you solidified you're not going back there, yes?
Yeah, that's the goal. Not go back.
Is that the goal every offseason, though? And then last year you weren't even really like – they didn't think that highly of you, and you pushed out Mendy's words. You broke down the door, and you left it open, and now you just ripped the whole door hinge off with the year that you had. Was there a moment that you knew, all right, I'm here, I got this?
Yeah, I think I could kind of see it sporadically, and then had the hip surgery last off season and was able to fix that up. And then, yeah, when I started throwing again, I just, I could feel the consistency in my motion and my mechanics. And I just started to see the work and the stuff that I knew that I had just on a more consistent basis.
How long was that hip bugging you?
I mean, I had issues for a couple of years, but I just thought it was tight, and I didn't know how bad it was until we got the image. And then in 23, I had a start in Philly where I felt something sharp on one pitch, and that was when it was like, okay, once the season's done, let's get it looked at and see what's going on inside of there.
You thought it was just something else that was always hurting? Like, stuff hurts, right?
Yeah.
When you play. All these like physicals that guys get, and like, oh, well, we got to get pictures. Decline the physical. Like, does that make you think, I'm not telling anybody when something hurts? Or because now you got the surgery and you're like, whoa, everything's flowing together and you were dominant last year. You know what? I might tell, because they might be able to fix something and I can unlock something else.
Yeah, I think it's kind of raised and influenced in a very old school manner growing up, and definitely was taught the distinction of hurt versus injured early on. And so, you play hurt, but if you're injured, then you got to say something. So, I mean, when I finally felt it on one pitch, and the last couple starts of the year in 23, just kind of piecing it together every 5 days to get back out there. That was when it was like, okay, let's take a deeper dive and see what's going on. But yeah, they had kind of always just said, like, you got tight hips, you might have a little bit of an impingement, but we never had an image, so we didn't really know how bad it was.
And it was bad, so you got to fix.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Exactly.
I'll be the first one to admit, and this is why I love doing the show, like a player-driven show, and we have players on. I'm like, the Mets need to add a little bit more starting pitching. Now I get to ask one of those starting pitchers, not saying you would have lost your job, but there's other dudes in your clubhouse that would have lost their job had you gotten Corbin Burns, had you gotten, traded for Crochet, the big names that are out there. What do you guys talk about as a group, as a starting pitching group, that you guys look like you gelled so much? Manaea was just in here. You guys were doing the paint last year, all your pitcher guy gimmicks. But what do you guys talk about when, that's the conversations that are being said?
Yeah, I think it's always been, since I've been here, there's always been an emphasis going into spring training. We need more starting pitching. We need starting pitching depth. So my first couple of years, it was always like, there's one spot left. We got some depth guys, kind of see how it irons out. And I think this is probably the best that I've seen out of the front office putting together just a handful of guys that have done it and done it well at the major league level. And we've obviously had some guys have some stuff early on, and that's where that depth comes into place, and having as many guys as you can ready to start in the big leagues.
Hey, Dave, I want to ask you, man, healthy, you look confident. Last year, the way the season went, you were thrust into some extremely big spots for that organization, and you pitched well, man. You showed that you were up for the challenge. I go back to that wild card game that you closed, and then you talk about the 5 1/3 shutty. Can you talk about those experiences, and what are you looking forward to this year after being in those roles and those experiences? What do you want to see out of yourself this coming year?
Yeah, I think the goal is to continue where I left off last year. Kind of keep doing the same thing, continue to get better every single day, and work hard. And it was fun. Kind of switching roles at the end of the year. We had multiple conversations and just talked about, hey, you might be helping us out in the most spots out of the bullpen. And so it was after starting the last game of the regular season before we went to Atlanta for those games, I wasn't going to start against Milwaukee. And so being in the bullpen there, it was fun getting my first career save in a playoff environment and advancing. And then obviously my last appearance starting against the Dodgers in another elimination game was awesome. And I think we kind of found out in our core what we had as a team last year. And I think the front office went out and did a great job of, realizing what we had and trying to build off of that and make this team the best version we can for 2025. And I'm excited to get to work and get this season rolling.
Yeah, I want to follow on that. You talk about being the best version of the Mets in 2025. What did you learn last year from not only your team, yourself? Can you got me?
Nope, still nothing. Cam. Now try again, Cam. He just got his earpiece in.
Yeah, you got me.
Got no sound.
He's got nothing. Okay, what he was saying was Cam would probably hit a dinger against you. That's what he was saying. I wasn't honestly paying attention to Cam's question, so if we get it back, we'll get it back.
He can relay it to you, Kratz. You can hear Cam.
Yeah,
Cam can just ask it to you and then ask
Go ahead.
for him.
Go ahead.
Give him the question.
Go ahead. Ask it. He'll ask me.
I just want to know,
perfect.
Last year, from beginning to the end, dealing with the New York media, a lot of criticism. And then you look up and like you said, they were one game from being in the World Series. What did he learn about that team as a whole throughout that season from beginning to end? What did he learn, and what is he looking forward to?
What did you learn from the team last year? Basically the fact that you guys were one game away from the World Series. From beginning to end, what did you learn that now you guys are going to move forward with for this season?
Yeah, I think, last year we kind of came in and after the way 23 went, I think it was kind of, go out there and see what we got. I think we didn't really have externally a lot of expectations and obviously got off to a rough start and had to dig ourselves out of a hole. But I think, the constant fight and not quitting of that team to get to where we did, like you said, to be one game away was awesome. And I think it's, being able to get a taste of the playoffs in 22, being the home wild card and getting eliminated, and then last year being able to move deeper into the playoffs and see what it's like and what it takes to move on round to round, I think was awesome. And, the next step is getting past the CS and getting to the ultimate showdown.
And winning it all. Mm-hmm. Did you keep the ball from the save? I got so many things while you were talking to Cam. Did you get to keep the ball?
I did, yeah. Pete had it and gave it to me when we were in the clubhouse afterwards. So, yeah, I got that one at home.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We actually asked that later too. But when you talked about the Phillies, I have to go on record here. I picked you guys to finish third. You could probably clear less because you guys are going to go out and just try to win as many games as possible, stay healthy, do all that stuff. But you yourself dominate the Phillies. What is it about that lineup or because going 5 1/3 shutout, I think you went in the NLDS, you pushed it over into playoffs. Sometimes like guys do well in the regular season and then it's like, postseason, you just kept it going. What is it? Is it something about how their lineup's constructed? Is it something about the way that they attack you? Is it something about how you just have confidence in a bigger game division rival against them?
Yeah, I think there's part of it that's kind of the division rival. It's always fun being in those rivalry games, whether it's at home and our fans are all fired up about them being in town, or we're at their place and it's rocking and it gets loud. So, I think they have some lefties in there, probably more than I see on a normal basis in a start. So that always works in your advantage to have some same side guys. And I think it's just, we're two good teams continuing to battle and obviously see each other a lot during the year. So I think it's a fun matchup and a good rivalry to be a part of.
Where were you when Soto signed? When you found out not only where he's going, but how much he's going for?
Yeah, that was I was sitting on the couch at home and just kind of, I think we were watching something with my wife and kids and saw something on ESPN pop up and said Soto's coming to the Mets, and then a couple minutes later, I think the numbers came out, and it's wild. Good for him. I mean, reaching free agency at 25, 26 is something not a lot of guys get to do, and I'm glad to have him here. It's been good to meet him and be around him a little bit and watch him work, and I'm excited to play with him this year.
Do you think he's going to buy you a gift besides dinners? Like, he's got dinners for days. He's got your kids' dinners. You think he's going to buy does your vibe get like with him? Like, is he a gift guy?
I don't know. I mean, he got Baty something pretty special for the number. So, I don't know. We'll see. I think a nice gift would be doing what he does consistently at the plate for us and manufacturing the offense like he does and adding a crucial piece in that lineup with the rest of the guys that are in there.
What would he have needed to buy you had you been number 22?
I don't know.
Like a 529 for your kids? How many kids you got?
I got 2 right now.
So then maybe like he could have taken care of the kids' college the rest of the way.
You never know.
Be creative, okay? Be creative.
That's one thing off the sheet.
That's one thing off the list. You don't have to hit. All right, we're going to hit a couple quick hitter questions. And the first one is, I really wanted to hit the whole, like, where is that baseball? Where's that save ball? Where did you put it in your house?
Yeah, it's we're in the process of building a house right now. So it's in our current house downstairs with the rest of my stuff. But it was a fun experience, and it's funny. Pete came up to me and he was like, "Hey, here's the ball from your save." And I was like, I knew the situation and I knew where I was at, but it had hit me after the game when he gave me the ball that it was my first career save, which was a cool moment afterwards.
That's crazy. Because in the moment you're like, do I get a win?
I was like, we just got to win the game.
The dudes we're going to the.
And then we're dogfight, like we're jumping around, and it was chaos, but it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Do you collect baseball cards?
I did a little bit as a kid, but not really right now.
What would be your top 2? If you had 2 rookie cards that you could get, what would be your top 2?
Top 2. Go Griffey as one of them. Maybe like Sandy Koufax.
Okay. Lefties. Golly, just stick to it. Get a righty. What's a personality that we need to know about that's in that clubhouse right now in spring training?
I mean, you just had Sean on. Obviously, he was he was a big driver last year of the eye black and some of the fun stuff that we did. And I think he's one of those guys that just you know when he walks in the morning, and he's a fun guy to be around. He's always bringing the spirits up, and we've got some characters in there, so it's fun to see kind of where guys are at on a daily basis, and it's fun to have Pete back. He's an awesome personality in the clubhouse as well. So, we got a lot of characters in there.
I have to say, as we're about to leave, I absolutely own this guy. So I will get tons of hits, but I need to say that because my son's here and he looks at my stats in my career and I sucked. So
I'm 1 for 1 with an RBI. I think we beat you guys that day too in Yankee Stadium. It was the COVID season. Anyway. It doesn't matter. It's just another hit.
Yeah.
But not for me. It's not another hit. I didn't have many, so there's that.
1,000.
David, appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right. FT, we'll be right back.
What can you tell us about Kim and his progression and how the Dodgers are feeling about him a few games into the camp?
Yeah, just go Google some highlights of Kim from the KBO. I mean, and you talk to the players in the Dodgers camp, Miguel Rojas, some of the coaches, it's really clear that his best position is second base. And that's sort of the baseline they're working with now. Alana knows with their time following the Dodgers, V does not just stand for victory, it stands for versatility. And they value that asset in a player as much, if not more, than any organization I've been around in 30 years. And, you know, he's left-handed. You have Pages and James Outman in the outfield. You could conceivably start both those guys in AAA if Kim can play the outfield. They have plenty of shortstops, but, you know, if he can play shortstop, that adds to the depth. They're going to explore everything they can as far as him being a utility player. But I could very easily see this, you know, becoming a situation where he's primarily a second baseman, which they need. Probably more of a platoon second baseman because you're going to want to have, you know, Kike in the lineup against lefties. You can move Tommy Edman over there, you know, depending on if Pages is on the team and you against a lefty, put Pages in center and Edman, the switch hitter, at second. The other thing they had outside of versatility, they love their platoon splits too, and they're going to have a lot of options in a lot of different areas. And you know, and Miguel Rojas, another right-handed hitter, you're going to want to get him in the lineup against some lefties too. So once again, good problem to have if everybody stays healthy. But I think almost a bigger determinant for Kim is going to be how he hits, how he adjusts to the better, you know, higher velocity, the nastier breaking pitches. It's way too early to make a determination just from some of the early at bats I've seen. You know, he is a contact hitter. It's just hard to tell this early how his you know, offensive skills are going to translate. The one tool he does seem to have in great supply is speed, and that's always going to help him. So that to me will probably determine how much he plays, as opposed to, you know, whether he can play short or third or center field.
That was like yellow earwax too.
Here we go. FT fam. Shout out to Arena Club, Kratz, and Cam with me, and also props to the Mets for just bringing all the players to the club right now. But yeah,
Shout
all the
out
players.
Mets. Dude,
Exactly. Hey, bottom
Big
of the
aura
screen.
for the Mets. Big aura.
Big aura. That's right. FOUL, 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase at arenaclub.com/foul. And we can show off a couple cards that we pulled in the past week from those slab packs. Actually, next slab pack goes live 1 o'clock East Coast time Friday. And if you catch this late, you can probably still get your hands on maybe a ruby pack, gold pack, etc. This is what AJ pulled last week. We'll ask him about it next week. That looks like a shiny little Bob Gibson auto. No big deal. AJ was quite excited about it and braggadocious, and that's fair. Todd Father also pulling a pretty sweet card. Whitey Ford for him, not too shabby. Also auto, yeah. So serious pulls here right now from these slab packs. So keep an eye out on those. They're awesome. And you can get 20% off your first slab pack. So I want to do this, guys. We can show a card to represent the player that means a lot to you. Someone who makes a big spring training impact in the past for you, Kratz, is, and give me a legend if you can.
I mean, I have two that really come to mind. Juan Pierre made a big impact for me. I'm not sure what card we're going to show, or if it's the Mike Schmidt card.
Well, you told me Mike Schmidt before the show.
Well,
So
yeah, Mike
we're
Schmidt. We had
gonna roll
talked
with
about
that.
too, and like just to see a Mike Schmidt card, like that guy was my hero growing up. Like it was my dad and Mike Schmidt. Like I played third base, so it was like one of those things where in Philly he was the man. And then in spring training in 2011, we got to work out. Like we got to work out together, lift weights with Mike Schmidt, and I'm like, he's just super casual about it too. He's just like, yeah, it was just me and him post game, and he was like telling me all this stuff about how the game is just changed. It's not better or worse. And I'm like, dude, like this is the greatest thing ever. Like 10 to maybe like 8 to 15-year-old me would have just been peeing his pants, so excited. But an impact, it made me see that superstars are like real people. And this was like halfway through my professional career. So to be able to meet and then hang out and lift and still be able to keep in contact with Mike Schmidt, that was legit.
Yeah, that's sweet. I wish I would have thought about this question a little bit more, but we talked about when it was asked spring training influences, and I named two guys as far as my first spring trainings went. And I named Placido Polanco and Maglio Ordonez. And those two dudes, man, were just extremely helpful, just always open armed, willing to give me advice. Hey, young buck, show up early, be late, get your drill work in, be seen and not heard. And then Maglio always made sure I was fitted with BG's, wood, as far as going into my first big league season. I went to low A with all the best Maglio Ordonez wood and bats. So he was instrumental. And then when I finally got caught up to the big leagues, he also bought me like 4 or 5 suits. So those are memories that I would never forget. And the reason why I tried to be the veteran guy that I was, that, looked out for the younger guys, allowed them to be themselves. They never really hazed me or made me feel like I couldn't be myself. So that was huge, because I think when guys can be themselves, they're the best version of themselves. So I think it's important that the veteran guys are understanding and open to taking those young guys under their wing and showing them the way, for sure.
I like it. All right, shout out to Arena Club for helping us out with some of those player cards while we were talking about those guys. New way to grade, collect, sell, trade cards. Go check it out, FT fam. arenaclub.com/foul to see what they're all about. Buying, grading, trading, slab packs to get yourself a card that you usually would be like, yo, I can't get 10 G's on a card, but if you get in on a slab pack, you can. So be right back. Brett Baty joining us next.
Yes, I conducted a bunch of interviews for Fox earlier this week that will be put together later in the season when we have the Giants on Fox. And in those conversations, that's what Posey said to me. Hey, when I went after this guy, it wasn't simply to be the father figure to the staff. It was because I believe he can be Justin Verlander, maybe not the Justin Verlander of 2006 or even 2022 or whatever, but someone who is really, really good. And Verlander clearly believes that as well. And so far, it's early, I know, but he seems to be recovered from his neck and shoulder problems from last year. He's feeling good about himself. And his goal still is 300 wins. And I don't know that he'll get there. He's 38 shy. But if there's ever a guy you want to bet on, it's him. And he keeps himself in great shape. He told me he wants to pitch until he's 45. He just turned 42 yesterday. It's not a set goal or anything like that, but he always idolized Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan pitched until he was 46. So with Verlander, guys, I just find him so fascinating. He has such a history in the game. He has made so much history in the game. And to see him now, and Max Scherzer the same, and with Toronto, to see these guys trying again.
It's 1 year, $5 million for Andrew Heaney to join the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're still spending a little bit of money right now. What was your thought on that signing, and just any overall thoughts on the Pirates, as we haven't talked about them in a minute?
Just looking at it from Heaney's perspective, Obviously, the money's not where he would have wanted it to be. I would think he would have wanted somewhere in the $10 million range. He's a pretty accomplished pitcher in his own way. He's not an ace, I get it, but he is someone that you would have thought in a market that originally was quite hot for starting pitchers might have done better. But what's interesting about this to me is he gets to join a rotation that is pretty good, right? Jared Jones, Mitch Keller, and Paul Skeens. So now you add Heaney to that, and for the Pirates, that's a pretty formidable group. Now, I still question their offense. Their big offensive addition, Spencer Horwitz, is already hurt. They didn't really do much else. I don't like the way the team is run, and we've all talked about that for years now. But this signing at that price should be pretty good for them.
That's my playlist. I made that last year. Manny, did you put the Morgan?
All right,
Back at Vets
FT
camp,
fam,
buddy.
next up. Yeah, we got you. Kratz, you got us, right?
First of all, a little swaggy, but Brett Baty,
Yeah.
obviously, we're going to have to talk about the car. Sneaky big guy. Like, I feel like we say this all the time in spring training, but sneaky big. He even came in with sleeves.
Hey, they make these gym shirts a lot smaller than they need to be.
Stop. They make the weights a lot bigger. You're pushing the weights around, but appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First timer, right?
First timer.
Yes.
Been watching y'all for a little while. I love the show, so first timer.
Appreciate that. That makes me blush. I made him blush about being a little bit big. He made me blush about a little bit of FT love. But obviously, the biggest thing, you said it right before we came on here.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking around the league to see who number 7 is so that the Mets can pick them up? Because now you're number 7. You had 22, and Juan Soto did a little Christmas in February.
Yeah, he did. And whoever in the league wants to sign with us, who's number 7 next year, feel free. Number 7's available. But no, I mean, he was unbelievable about it. Yeah, he was unbelievable about it. He texted me right before his press conference and was like, "Hey, is 22 available?" And I was like, "Yeah, you go for it, brother." And then he was like, "I'll take care of you." And then got down here to spring training, and he surprised me with that one day. So it was unbelievable.
But all the number 7s out there have to understand, is the price going to go up? Because I've heard of, and Cam might be able to, Cam Maybin, who your ex-teammate, might be able to lay into this a little bit, like Rolexes. And a creative one was like a 529 for their kids.
Uh-huh.
You're too young for that kind of stuff. But like this is a legit vehicle. So is the price going to go up for the next number 7?
No, I mean, I don't even know about all the the unwritten rules or anything. I was blown away by what he did. That was incredible. And partly our travel secretary, it goes back to him too, because he was pushing for the research and everything, and he ended up asking me for my car insurance like the day before, and so I was a little fishy.
That's not normal. That's not every
yeah,
day question.
exactly. He's like, let me get your license and let me get your car insurance, and I'm gonna need you available at 10 a.m. tomorrow. I was like, that's a little strange.
The travel director is not always asking big leaguers for their. Did you have to go out to your car to get your insurance card? Because you'll just keep it on your person.
Yeah, luckily I had a screenshot of it on me. He's like, I need it quickly. He's like, I'm on the phone with somebody. I need it quickly. I was like, all right, I'll get it to you. I was out at BP actually, and he's like, I was like, when I go in, I'll get you. Don't worry about it.
All right, I like it.
Hey, Brett, the car was nice. Before I get to it, as I'm sitting here listening, I'm like, all that bread, Soto couldn't just put you on his insurance. I mean, he couldn't. Hey, Dad, hey, put me on your insurance. Appreciate the car, but you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking about right there, dog.
What, on a family plan?
You got enough money, bro. Add me to the insurance, bro. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? So, but no, all jokes aside, I want to get straight into it. As I look at this roster, we know what Juan Soto has been. We know how huge it is for him to come to that organization. It's extremely huge, I think, to get Pete back. I think his bat, what he's done for New York is extremely big. I continue to say that You are the guy in my eyes that I think, that I hope, that I want to see take that next step. I think you have. When I watch your tape, when I watch your film, you literally the game, the potential is oozing out of you, right? What do you do? What do you need to do to take that next step? Because I believe you have the type of guy to be. You could be a guy who be going, hey, I need that number one day. You know what I mean? You could be asking somebody for that number. What do you need to do to take that next step?
Yeah, well, I think first step is showing off the versatility so I can make this roster. I've been working at second base. I've been working at third base, and I actually took a few ground balls at shortstop today. Been doing picks on the backfield at first base, just trying to show off all the versatility so I can make this roster and really show what I can do on the field for sure. But then once I get there, I think it's about staying within myself. Whenever I'm doing stuff at the most simplest form, I feel like I have the most success. So right now, my approach in spring training, I've had a little bit of success to start, is to swing at strikes and take balls, and really keep a really simple approach up there. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this year, man. We got a lot of good talent, a lot of good guys. The clubhouse is great. So I'm excited.
Do you look around? Do you look around to see other teams that need a third baseman? You said versatility, and you're like, ooh, well, maybe I could play. Or is that not anything in your realm, in your thinking?
I mean, it's always hard not to, but at the end of the day, like I got to be where my feet are. So that's with this team, that's with this club, and I just want to make this club better in every part of the game and stuff. So any way I can do to help this team, I want to do that, and I want us to win a World Series. So,
okay, was it tough to watch last year when it was like?
Hold on, Kratz. Hold that question though.
Oh,
okay.
So we're about to cut.
Wait, I can explain the World TV situation. This is This is the only reason that they pay me, Brett. So we're on 17 TV networks. They're hitting 57, which is called a term break, which is in 10 seconds. And then once they do that, we'll keep rolling here with the show. We just have to hit their commercial break, and then the rest of the crowd sees it. So in 10 seconds, we'll hit that. We'll continue with Brett Baty for a few more minutes, but there'll be like a 10-second pause here for the crowd, and then you'll keep watching us. Boom, painless. We're back. Go ahead, Kratz.
See, I totally lost my train of thought. Scotty's the pro TV guy. Me and Cam, we're clearly the good looks. We're clearly the good looks.
Yeah, y'all are.
I have plenty of questions, though. You know what? Then I'm going to jump in real quick.
Oh, Scotty's exactly. Question. Huge Brett Baty fan.
Well, a lot of fans were requesting we get you on here, Brett, and we don't always go diving this deep, but they really want to know, like, take us inside the mind of the swing and the adjustments and stuff like that. So can you give us, a minute on what you're thinking about this year, and, if it's all driven from you and people, that you work with in the off season, or how much gets influenced by players, guys like Lindor, Soto, or anyone else on the team that help you out with like finding that kind of perfect swing that you feel like is right for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're all chasing the perfect swing, and it doesn't exist. But I would say I made a lot of swing adjustments this offseason. But I think the biggest thing that I did was just simplify everything. I went back to square one and really tried to shorten my stride. Really tried to quiet the head down a little bit, the sway back and forth. I'm keeping my top hand on the bat for longer, so it's stronger. And then also just the approach thing. I think the approach thing is bigger than the swing mechanics, because I think you could have. I mean, I take the example Hunter Pence all the time. He had a really funky swing, but I mean, it looked like he had a killer's mentality in the box, and I think that was huge for him. So I think you can kind of swing however you want. It's just more about the approach for me, and I think simplifying my approach, swinging at strikes, taking balls, and just trying to put the barrel on the ball is huge for me this year.
Do you know Hunter?
I don't. No.
Well, you hit it right on the head.
Yeah.
He had a killer approach.
Right?
And a brutal-looking swing. The only thing that was worse than his swing was his on-deck swings. He would swing so hard that his belt By the time he got up to the plate, would be like his belt
Really?
loop would be over there. So you're exactly right.
Uh-huh.
Killer mentality. One of the most positive people
That's
that I've
awesome.
ever seen. You go down to AAA, and speaking of killer, like you had 16 dingers and like 200 at bats.
Yeah.
Is there nothing else for you to prove down there? And is it possible for guys to still get better in the minor leagues in your position?
100%. 100%. I mean, I'm not going to complain one day about playing baseball for a living. No matter where you are, that's kind of how I look at it. As long as I can play this game, I'm going to be happy playing it wherever I am. Obviously, I want to be in the major leagues, helping a major league team win. But I'm going to be where my feet are. So, and I feel like you can always get better no matter you're playing a Sunday league game. You can do something better in that game. We're all trying to perfect the swing, and it's never going to happen. So,
okay, I appreciate that. Cam's got one for you.
Okay, yeah. Two questions for you because I'm listening to you talk about your approach and your tweak, and you said something that I really love. You said I'm really trying to keep that top hand working as long as possible. And I coach I've got a 17-year-old son. A lot of guys are chasing, lift and chasing launch. There's a guy in the Mets, or he used to be. Is Colin Hetzler still with the Mets organization by any chance? Do you know?
he was our AAA hitting coach last year, but he's now with the Red Sox.
Did he give you anything? Because I think that guy is incredible. I think his philosophy, and I got with him towards the end of my career, and I wish I'd have met him a little bit sooner. And I listened to you talk about the top hand. Did you guys have any conversation? Because again, you did dominate AAA. He was there. Can you just add anything to that about him, about that philosophy?
Oh yeah. I mean, he's huge. He was my AA hitting coach as well. So he's been a very instrumental part of my career. He has some of the best mixed BP that I've had in my whole career.
Incredible.
I mean, it's like he's sinking it, he's cutting it, he's throwing sliders, he's doing everything. He's really good at mixed BP. But yeah, we work a lot on. One of my biggest struggles was the inside pitch, and we would work on that white line drill, almost that Robbie Cano drill, where he's throwing it at your front hip, and you got to keep it fair and stuff like that. But I mean, he was huge for me, and he was a big proponent on the top hand, staying on the bat and everything like that. But yeah, he was really good for me for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Brett, I'm going to jump in with my last one for you, then Kratz will finish here. So I know you worked with Troy Tulowitzki at one point on D. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so I just wanted to know, how is he as a coach? Obviously, he was a star player for a while, and then he was training Mookie Betts a little bit at shortstop this offseason.
Yeah, I know. I wish I would have known that. I would have gone over there and worked out with him. But I haven't gone over to Texas in a little bit. But when I did go over there, he was great. He was great for sure. He would take me through the footwork stuff, the hand stuff that he used to do, and he would I love picking his brain about shortstop, third base, stuff like that. How he always used to throw on the run and just be athletic. Love picking his brain about that. And then we also did some hitting stuff together when I went over there too. So yeah, he was awesome.
All right, well, let's transition right into that. I got a couple quick hitter questions for you.
Let's hear him.
Who was the guy? Do you have a good story about a guy that when you met him, baseball or non-baseball, that you were like, whoa, like I met that guy? Because you were talking kind of about Mookie there. Like, is there somebody?
Yeah. Maybe in 2023, so I guess 2 years ago, I got called up from AAA like 2 weeks into the season and hit a little – I was facing Dustin May in LA. It was like my first game, hit a little punch shot to just like right over Freddie, and I get to first or whatever. He's like, I gave you that one right there. I gave you that one. And I was like, no, you didn't. And I was like, I earned that or something like that. But we just got to talking, and I was like, damn, this is Freddie right here.
It's Freddie Freeman.
It was cool.
That's a cool moment. All right. If you had two rookie cards that you could have, whether you collect baseball cards or not, two rookie cards that you would be like, yes, like I need these. Entire history of baseball.
Oh, history of baseball? Not recent?
Or now.
I mean, the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to give me a something crazy for the Paul Skeens, right? They're going to give me
sit next to
season
Livy Dunn,
tickets.
too.
Yeah, get the suite and everything. My girlfriend's from Pittsburgh, so that'd be perfect.
Okay, so Paul Skeens card.
Yeah, Paul Skeens. No, probably I was a huge fan of Josh Hamilton growing up. Just living in Texas, I would want one of his for sure. Lefty swing, sweet lefty swing.
I like that. I like that.
Okay, I want to ask you this as we ask these baseball questions, and now you've had a taste of the big leagues, and as you know, I always tell people AAA and big leagues it's totally different game. Who has impressed you the most, whether it's been teammate or opponent? After going, okay, this is real up here, but damn, this dude, I mean, he's got it figured out. Like, for me, I watched a guy named Placido Polanco, and I'm just like, this dude, he never struck out. It was just incredible to watch his bat to ball skills. But who's the guy for you who's just like, damn, this guy has it figured out?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give my props to one of my best homies on the team is Vientos last year. Mark, we call him Swaggy V. I saw him. We played together all throughout the minor leagues, and I mean, I saw it with the bat the entire way and with the glove. I think people sleep on his defense way too much, but I saw it come to fruition in the big leagues last year. He came up there and right off the bat, he hit a pinch hit walk-off homer against Liberatore against the Cardinals. And I was like, dang, bro, like that was a sick swing. And then he just kept doing it week in and week out. And I was like, you look really good right now. And then obviously he went into the playoffs and did what he did, like 1,000 OPS, 5 homers or something. So, I mean, I was rooting for the guy last year. He's one of my best homies. It was pretty special to watch last year for sure.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you, Brett. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for the FT love too, and good luck this season, man. We'll catch you during the year. All right.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having me.
Thank you. All right, that's Brett Baty, and that's the end of the show. Okay, let's just show you on the way out here the spring training calendar for next week. So next week we're in Florida still. Week after we're in Arizona. Week after that we're back in Florida, and Cam will be on that spring training tour. But next week we've got Pierzynski on the road. I know he's hitting Dunedin Blue Jays camp on Monday, and here it is, Tuesday, Nats camp in Palm Beach. Wednesday, they're basically next door neighbors, the Astros and the Nats at spring training. So Astros Wednesday, so we can steal Jose Altuve's infield glove. Thursday, Phillies camp, AJ will be there saying ha-ha to Kratz, and then Friday, Rays camp, and then Arizona the week. FT fam, thank you, appreciate you. See you Monday. Thanks to the Mets. Crushed it. PR MVPs.